In order for you to get the attention of people, randomly call out participants for a question or a recitation. Most speakers think that it's a monologue, it's a download. You keep on speaking and speaking and speaking, and you don't involve people, right? Most speakers also have this default mindset that the Q&A should only be at the end of the session. Not true. And in fact, if you make them aware that the Q&A is only after the session, some of them will only listen perhaps at the last part when the Q&A is about to start. So when you randomly call them out, it gives them that message. Oops, I have to listen because any time of this 1 hour, I may be called out. Examples of questions to ask are, hey, Michael, could you please help me out with this slide and share your thoughts? What can we do with X? Randomly call out someone. Okay. Another example, and by the way, this doesn't only apply to teachers in high schools or grade school or university. This applies even to meetings. For example, if you're presenting a PowerPoint slide such as the new guidelines for COVID-19 for office-based employees, you can call out someone and say, hi, Diane, may I nominate you to read this paragraph? And then you ask them to read the paragraph as if they are participating and presenting the slide. Okay? What does this do to the other participants? It sends them a message that you can be Diane later. You might be called out, so make sure you don't leave your desk, you don't turn off the microphone, and even if you're multitasking, you should have a level of focus to what's happening in front of the screen. Right? I promise you guys, this is one of the most effective ways of capturing their attention. Also, I'm going to flip the coin. When you already have a very active participant base, do not ignore the chat box. One of the most powerful ways to make them feel that they are loved, to make them feel that they are important and special, is exactly what I'm doing all the time in my webinars. And that is acknowledge their responses in the chat box, right? So for example, if I'm going to highlight, right? So for example, I'm highlighting Froilan now. That's a limelight and spotlight for Froilan, right? May not be good for a lot of people because they don't like the limelight, but a lot of us do like that, right? Same thing also, I'm highlighting Brendalyn's name here, and she says, good afternoon. Or Rika says, I use a name picker like No Hands app extension that can be installed if you want to randomly call out some people, right? The point here is you want to acknowledge their effort, that they contributed to the discussion. Okay? All right. I like this response from Charles because I can also relate to you. And he says, the only problem with calling out someone is when they use network issues as an excuse. I agree. I think this is more of an exemption to the rule. This can also happen. But most often than not, people are expected to have good internet connection, especially for really big companies or meetings, right? There's no harm in trying it and still do it. Okay. All good? Pass ball. Ooh, I like this response. Zen Sam Flores says, sometimes we do pass ball reading. I like that. So pass ball reading could mean I'm asking Diane to read. And then after Diane is going to be asked to choose anyone in the Zoom grid to call out another participant, right? That way, it doesn't look like the speaker is intently biased against a certain participant. It makes it more neutral, right? All good? All right. Ooh, I like this also from Eds. Thank you for sharing this. I use the Spin a Wheel app with their names on it, so it makes the call out a big exciting. Very good. So if you have an opportunity, if you can put it in your slide, and then you press the button, and then it just randomly shows up and pops out their name like it was a quiz show. That's also good. That's very helpful for teachers, right? Especially if the attention span of students are very low also, right? Arnold says, other speakers don't want to be disturbed, so they put the Q&A on the last part. Yes, that also works. I also do that for some of my webinars, right? But if the session is just a meeting, you can just cover all, you can allow it. It will depend on how deep the conversation is. It will depend on the amount of time you have left. So I will discourage doing a proactive Q&A in the middle of the session if you have limited time. But if you have all the generosity of time covered for you, then you can use it as a way. By the way, asking question is a good strategy if you want to kill time. Give me an exclamation mark if you can relate to that, right? I'll give you a quick tip. So for example, if something's happening with my slide, and while I'm moving my slide, I noticed that I forgot another slide. And I told to myself, shucks, I have to add this slide. So what do? I stall the time. So while I'm multitasking, and of course, this is me because I'm an expert and I'm doing this for a living, I can multitask. While I'm changing my slides, I'm asking a question to the participants. So they don't know I'm multitasking because they don't know what's happening in front of my screen. But questions are your biggest allies. It helps you kill time. It helps you stall time. It makes you look like you're interested and you're engaged with the participants, right? Even if you're not sometimes, but you have to be, or at least you have to appear that you are also. Okay?